for Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The starvation crisis in Gaza is worsening after some 20 Palestinians have starved to death in the last 48 hours. Among the dead, a 12-year-old teenager and an elderly man, according to reports from Al Jazeera and Quds News Network. The United Nations estimates a quarter of the 2.1 million Palestinians in Gaza are facing famine-like conditions, and nearly 100,000 women and children are suffering from severe acute malnutrition and need treatment as soon as possible. Juliet Touma is Director of Communications for the United Nations Relief Agency for Palestinians, known as UNRWA.
Gaza has become hell on earth and no place is safe. In his statement, the Commissioner General said that no one is spared. Caretakers, including UNRWA colleagues in Gaza, are also in need of care now. Doctors, nurses, journalists, humanitarians, among them UNRWA staff, are hungry. Many are now fainting due to hunger and exhaustion while performing their duties. Meanwhile, seeking food has become as deadly as the bombardments. More than 1,000 starving people have been reported killed since the end of May.
France's foreign minister is calling for international media access into Gaza after Agence France Presse is reporting for the first time it has reporters who are facing starvation. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes have killed some 50 Palestinians today as forces are making ground and aerial assaults on parts of central Gaza previously not targeted in the 20-month-long war. The World Health Organization says its staff were detained by Israeli forces in central Gaza and is demanding their release. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky today renewed his offer to meet with Russia's President Vladimir Putin and negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine, as delegations from both governments prepare to hold a third round of direct talks in Istanbul tomorrow. The Trump administration's border czar Tom Homan's vowing to flood sanctuary cities with federal immigration agents after an off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer was shot in a Manhattan park Saturday following an alleged robbery gone wrong. The officer is in stable condition. Officials say one of the attackers is an undocumented immigrant.
Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Hard stop. And I'm going to work very hard with Secretary Noem to keep President Trump's promise and his commitment several weeks ago that sanctuary cities are now our priority. We're going to flood the zone.
Homan's comments come as 2,000 National Guard soldiers remain stationed in Los Angeles to help enforce President Donald Trump's mass deportation agenda. State Governor Gavin Newsom has warned the move will be replicated in other cities and states. The Trump administration, meanwhile, said it's withdrawing 700 Marines also stationed in Los Angeles. A coalition of 21 Democratic states filed a lawsuit Monday challenging the Trump administration's latest exclusion of a dozen health and safety net programs for undocumented immigrants, including the federal preschool program Head Start, community health clinics, shelters, and adult education. The lawsuit, led by New York Attorney General Letitia James, argues the changes will create significant harm. California Attorney General Rob Bonta.
These programs are vital to the life, health, and dignity of our communities. Let's be clear. The president's decision to reverse this policy isn't about preventing waste, fraud, or abuse of the system, the normal script and spin that they give. It's about targeting vulnerable communities, including seniors, working moms, and kids. It's about stripping services from people who need them most.
Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. announced Head Start, community health clinics, shelters, and adult education will now be classified as federal public benefits, excluding undocumented immigrants from accessing them. A federal judge Monday sentenced a former Kentucky police officer to nearly 3 years in prison for using excessive force during a raid in which officers shot and killed a black woman, Breonna Taylor. The sentence rebuffs the Department of Justice recommendation of no prison time for the former cop, Brett Hankinson, who fired 10 shots during the raid but didn't hit anyone. He was the only officer on the scene charged in Taylor's death and is the first person sentenced to prison in the case, which sparked weeks of street protests over police brutality. Tamika Palmer, Taylor's mother, spoke after the sentencing.
I think the judge did the best she could with what she had to work with. There was no prosecution in there for us. There was no prosecution in there for Breonna.
That part.
So I definitely, I'm grateful for the judge for giving some time.
4 protesters were arrested outside the courthouse, including Taylor's aunt. The Trump administration has released FBI records on civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination despite his family's opposition. Martin Luther King III and Bernice King opposed the decision to release more than 240,000 pages of records concerning the slain civil rights leader. Some civil rights activists, including the Reverend Al Sharpton, say Trump is using the King files to distract from his own troubles related to accused pedophile and convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.